Good morning, friends, family, fellow futures and forex traders. It's time for the market forecast. Tuesday, August the 25th. I'm John Hoagland. Thanks for trusting me with your time. Got another interesting trading day going on already this morning. Hopefully, if you are in the markets, you are heading the right way already. As usual, we're going to look at these markets in context through the lens of risk management, starting with the eco numbers due out this morning. Just now, the Case-Shiller housing market housing price index just came out. The FHFA housing price index also just out right now. 9 o'clock this morning, we have consumer confidence as well as new home sales. So lots going on as far as the housing market is due. Most of the time, not very impactful, but when we are keeping a close eye on the economy, it can be a little bit more impactful. Not necessarily seeing much response for it now. We're going to take a look at those charts very shortly. As far as the news is concerned, the U.S. and China had a discussion on the telephone from what I'm reading last night. They've resumed trade talks via the telephone. Rumor has it that the conversation was polite. Hopefully, they didn't have a party line going with only one of the people knowing that the party line was actually on. Their Dow is rebalancing, and this is a pretty big change. I mean, ExxonMobil has been was part of Standard Oil, which was one of the original components of the Dow, is being taken out of the Dow, as well as Raytheon and Pfizer in Salesforce, Amgen, and Honeywell. I guess it's an increasing of the weight of technology into the Dow. Earnings today, we've had Best Buy already out. Looked like the earnings came out pretty well, but I think there's a little bit of a downturn in price. Hormel Foods, just about even. Medtronics, a little better than expected. This afternoon, speaking of Salesforce, we have Salesforce numbers due out after the close, as well as Intuit and Nordstrom. The VIX down just a little bit here at 22.18. The dollar index 93.19. Make sure you like, share, comment, question. Feedback is always welcome, as well as some good heckling I do enjoy. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get notifications when we do go live. I always like to say good morning to everybody. Charles March, first in the room. You win the prize. Bryce, almost in the first one in the room there. Starting your combine today, take it easy, be patient, take your time. And stick to your process. Don't be focusing on that profit target. Don't be focusing on money. Focus on making good trading choices. Tanya, good morning. Greg, good morning. I see you're looking at that 43.22 to 43.40 area for an opportunity for us today. A lot of eyes will be looking at that today. Greg, looks like we're already on our way to that level here, just opening up, driving up to that level. We're going to take a look again. Chat, good morning. Paige, Alan, afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody. Bryce again, Subconscious, Fanis, Steve, Keith, Sarah, good morning. MSS Capital, Doyle, Steve, Troy, Rob T, Kevin Scott, good afternoon, everyone. Kevin, hope you're safe down there. And Jason Cargill, buenos dias, guten morgen, guten tag, guten abend. All right, so we are here to check out these charts. Let's do that. Let's check them out. I've got the daily and crude here up as usual. Let's take a quick look. All right, so we are rapidly approaching 43.40, the weekly kickoff high here. Really, the market has been range bound, and this is a really good opportunity for us to possibly break market state. Over 1 million barrel a day reduction in production due to the storms in the Gulf. Eventually, that seems to really have to affect price at some point, right? So here we are. We've got good structure to the upside. We had an inside day yesterday on very low volume. There was a lot of indecision in this market yesterday that seems to be somehow and somewhat a little bit resolved today. We're getting a look at that weekly kickoff high as we speak. Open interest was weak. Also, we lost 7,900 in open interest. Maybe some people just trying to even up, so because we're not sure what's going to happen in the Gulf, I guess. Inside day, we were starting out that way, but we have certainly extended above yesterday's range. Let's take a look at what we've got here. We've got a gap above yesterday's range. Just kind of getting started this morning. It looked like we were going to be opening in range but above value, but we certainly have some opportunity facing us right now. This 43.40 level or the 43.22 level that Greg was looking at is an important level. I mean, this could accelerate to the upside. It could also fail and bring us back lower. So just watching this, I guess it's about a $20 tick range here, a 20-cent range to look for opportunities in that range. Right now, I'm not stepping in front of this thing. We see this market kind of building and finding some momentum and looking like it is ready to keep moving to the upside. Boy, I wish I was ready for the opening range trade here. If the opening range was the low of the session, boy, that's really a first sign of continuing buying coming into this market. So don't fight this move. If we get the opportunity to see a pullback down to this 43.40, 43.20 level, might be an interesting spot for us. You can take a look here at now into the S&Ps, because the S&Ps are on the move as they were yesterday. Yesterday we had decent volume. We had some pretty good open interest increase as well. We added 8,400 in open interest yesterday in the S&Ps. The grind just seems to continue to go on without the advent of bad news, even with the good news that happened, I think, with the possible communication between the U.S. and China as far as trade is concerned. There's good news. So with volume increasing and open interest increasing, the upside auction still remains very healthy looking. The housing numbers just out. We don't really know what happened there. We can take a quick look, and it looks like they were just kind of innocuous. Nothing bad or good either way. It looks like pretty close to what expectations were all around. So we've got those numbers out. We've got consumer confidence and new home sales coming out at 9 o'clock Central Time. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart and see what we're seeing here. One of the things that I've been pointing out is we've been putting in recent highs, and now yesterday an all-time new high is the overnight highs tend not to stay when they are recent highs or new highs. This was an all-time high yesterday. It took all day for this market to digest below that level and then finally take it out at the end of the session. Settlement is up here, 34.2750. We've got most of our overnight inventory or trading above that. We're going to call that a little bit long and short time frame. We'll see what the market does. We're going to open with a gap. If the gap remains, we look for opportunities in the direction of the gap, which would have us looking to continue to the upside. If we can't hold this 34.30 weekly kickoff high, then we may see this market pull back a little bit. But again, our all-time high was in the overnight session. It tends not to hold that way. Where there's a probability that we're going to take out that overnight high at some point, maybe not today, but in coming days, because the market just does not like to leave all-time highs or recent highs in the overnight session. So watch yourself. I'm going to suggest staying a little bit patient. Are we a little too long here? Are we going to get a chance to have a long before we take out our overnight high? We did yesterday. Why not today? Take a look at the NASDAQ now. The NASDAQ is showing a little bit of weakness here, it seems. We've got weekly kickoff high at 11,630. 11,636 was settlement, so we just kind of basically closed right on it. We do have structure remaining good. We have a little bit of increase in open interest of 600, but the volume yesterday up against that level was a pretty good increase. So I'm kind of liking the fact that that volume could support continuation of the auction process to the upside. Taking a look at the 30, we have no gap. We have no overnight inventory. We're basically opening at point of control. If we were to open now, we've got about 18 minutes before we really open. But we're in range and in value. We're unable so far to hold price above this weekly kickoff high. So this makes this kind of a target rich environment. We've got value high settlement and an inflection level and longer time frame right in this neighborhood. So this is an area that I would be probably looking for an execution if I were going to be trading the NASDAQ today. But I want to stay kind of patient in this because we are right in the middle of value from yesterday. Very little change in the perception of value in the NASDAQ. It's going to change. It's going to change. The gold, a pretty decent opportunity yesterday. Testing weekly kickoff low last night. We had some kind of lousy volume. We've been kind of dropping volume, but that bears to I mean, it happens when you kind of fall into range trade. We did add to 2,200 in open interest yesterday, which I do find interesting. It's a little difficult to determine yesterday what the direction was of the addition of open interest, and I'm going with short because of the direction of the market yesterday. Yesterday we had the opening range at the dead high. The market drove lower all day. Didn't really change value or price that much. I mean, it was a pretty decent opportunity to the downside, but at the end of the day, it really didn't change all that much. We have settlement here at 1939.20. We've tested relatively close last night to our weekly kickoff low of 1924, within 12 ticks of it in the overnight. We opened, we had a little bit of a gap. It looks like we have now closed that gap. So this down here is looking more and more like it should be some pretty supportive levels. So we're back in range, back in value. Try and stay patient. I'm thinking that there's going to be a better trade location than where we are right now for sure. But I think there's going to be a better trade location in either direction coming as the day goes on. And for our euro, pretty decent opportunity yesterday again. We have an inside day. After an inside day here, this market seems to be slowing but coiling. It seems to be building some possible energy. We're pretty centrally located within the weekly kickoff high and low. It's been about a month since we've been really accepted outside of that level, and I don't see it happening today, but that doesn't mean that there's not some decent opportunity. We lost 3,700 in open interest yesterday on lower volume. That's what I'm talking about, this market kind of slowing down but possibly building some energy. When we have a loss in open interest, it means that those traders, those liquidated contracts, are ready and welcome and able probably to come back in and affect the marketplace. So let's take a look at the 30. So here we are. We have settlement just a little bit lower. Our move yesterday was basically a move back to settlement. We've had a couple of adjustments already in overnight long inventory. I don't think that that's necessarily going to be much of a factor here. So I was thinking I was going to be opening in range and in value, which we were, but we seem to be testing. Let's take a look at how overnight high and yesterday's session high possibly brings some resistance. At the very least, we're always thinking and we're always talking about risk management and using levels to manage risk. This looks like a pretty decent one. Our overnight high pretty close to the high from the day from yesterday. This looks like a possible, opportunity. At the very least, it's not going to cost me much if we take out the high of the overnight and yesterday's range, and then I can readjust. The whole point is, you don't want to risk too much on any one given trade and then not be able to take the next trade. It's always about being available to trade tomorrow or the next trade, if you will. The Japanese yen. There's maybe a little bit of a sign of life in this market. This market was like my least favorite market yesterday. Was an inside day and an inside day yesterday, but we've left that area now. There's a little bit of a sign of life. Horrible volume yesterday and a loss of 2,600 in open interest. We've already traded more volume today than we did all day yesterday. So there's some potential decent opportunity in the Japanese yen. When I'm going to look at the 30-minute chart to see what we're looking at, we've got settlement all the way up here, 94.3950. We've got all of these overnight shorts currently wondering if they're going to see any sellers come in and continue this market to the downside. Just the opposite in the euro yesterday, we had overnight longs. Just the opposite in the Japanese yen today. We've got a lot of overnight shorts. If these overnight shorts all the way down, we kept getting shorter and shorter, and these are not longer time frame traders. These are pea shooters like you and me. If they get the idea that there's not going to be any continuation to the downside, they'll bail and they will bring price, if not back to settlement, relatively close to it. So I'm keeping an eye on that. I don't have good trade location at this spot here for that continuation. I would look for a little bit more of a pullback towards our overnight low for that opportunity. And if I miss it, I miss it. It's okay. There will be another opportunity coming down the pipe. It looks like we've got a lot of thoughts and questions and things here. I'm just going to take a look here before we get down to business. Hey, Rick, my brother's here. It's good to see you. I wish I got to see you as much as you get to see me. Yes, good, Kevin. All's well's there. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Brit Depth rode the open rip and then scaled into the pullback to VWAP. Not sure what market you're looking at. Maybe the crude oil? Catch the opening rip, because that was a pretty good opening rip. ES. ES. All right. That would be last night, I'm thinking. Esteban. Hola, Federico. Buenos dias to you. Federico from Little Uruguay. Welcome. Vast West. Good morning. Thank you. Have a great day. Absolutely. Yoshuan, you also have a great day. Good morning. And all right. I think we are crisp and on time this morning. Hey, Yoshuan, the Dominican Republic. Wow, lots of volume in that chat this morning. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Bryce, trade well today. Let us know tomorrow morning how your first day in the trading combine was. Don't forget to watch Dan and JD for the market recap today at 2 o'clock. Maybe you can tell them how your day was then. Always interested in everybody's success. Looking forward to it, wanting it, and doing everything we can to help. So I'm going to take my deep breath. I hope you take yours with me. Stay humble, grateful, and creative in your trading today. Get out there and profit. Trade well. We'll see you later. Don't forget, watch Dan and JD at 3 o'clock. Do you know we've paid out over $1 million to our traders this year? Amazing. Amazing. It's another milestone that we knew we could get to, just didn't know when. Congratulations to all of you traders. And keep it up. Keep up the good work. Stay focused. Work your process. Get out of here. Have a great trading day. We'll see you later.